This is not motivation. It is a warning. What you are about to hear will either make introverts the most terrifyingly precise thinkers in any room they enter, or the most dangerous version of themselves they were never prepared to become. Because the same silence that sharpens perception can also hollow out the soul if it enters a mind before discipline enters the character. In part 1, we go through the secrets introverts already carry and the exact exercises that weaponize them. In part 2, we expose what these secrets cost when they go too far, because nobody warns the quiet ones about this part. And in part 3, we show you how to carry this level of intelligence without it slowly dismantling the last thing that makes you worth being around. Let's begin. Part 1. The secrets and the exercises. Secret 1. The observation architecture. There is a skill that entire intelligence agencies spend billions trying to artificially manufacture in people. Most introverts develop it quietly, accidentally, before age 12. It is called behavioral baseline reading. Every person has a default, a normal rhythm, a standard energy, a typical way their face moves when nothing is wrong. The moment something deviates from that baseline is the moment the truth surfaces, not in the words, in the gap between the words and everything else. Micro-expressions lasting less than 1/5 of a second. A voice dropping half a register when a topic shifts. Posture changing before the brain has even consciously registered discomfort. Most people hear conversations. The trained observer reads them. And once you learn to read them, you cannot be successfully deceived in a room you are paying attention to. The practice. For 2 weeks, in every conversation you observe, not participate in, observe. Track one thing only. What does this person's face do in the half second before they respond to something unexpected? That half second is the only moment the performance drops. Learn to read it, and you will never need someone to tell you the truth again. Secret 2. The Solitude engine. Every high-performance culture on Earth has pathologized solitude. They scheduled every hour. They filled every silence. They built entire productivity systems designed to ensure you are never truly alone with your own mind. And in doing so, they handed a catastrophic advantage to every person willing to protect their solitude deliberately. Deep, uninterrupted solitude activates the brain's default mode network, the system responsible for integrating contradictory information, connecting unrelated concepts, and generating insight that feels sudden but was assembled silently for hours beneath conscious awareness. Your most important thinking does not happen around people. It happens after. And the person who protects that, after, who guards it like a resource, not wastes it like dead time, operates on a different cognitive tier than everyone filling their silence with noise. The practice, once daily, schedule 45 minutes of complete input blackout. No phone, no audio, no content. Walk, sit, exist. Write every thought that surfaces immediately after. Run this for 21 days. Compare what you wrote on day 1 to day 21. The depth gap will be uncomfortable to look at. Secret 3. Strategic invisibility. The most dangerous position in any room is not the loudest one. It is the one nobody is tracking. When you are not performing, you are automatically granted access to something the performer is permanently denied, the ability to observe without being observed. To read every player at the table while they are too busy being seen to notice you are studying them. The person who is underestimated controls something invisible and invaluable. The gap between what others believe about them and what is actually true. That gap is leverage, and when deployed at the precise moment it matters, it shifts entire rooms in a single move. This is not shyness. This is not insecurity wearing a disguise. This is the deliberate, intelligent management of perception. And the person who manages perception before the conversation begins controls the conversation entirely. The practice. In your next high-stakes environment, set one objective only. Say fewer than 5 things, but make each one the sentence people repeat afterward. Measure impact by what gets remembered, not by how much you said. Secret 4. The silence weapon. Everyone is trained to fill silence. Schools punish it. Offices pathologize it. Social culture treats it as failure. That training is exactly what makes silence so lethal in the hands of someone who refuses to be conditioned by it. When you stop filling silence, something happens to the people around you. They start filling it for you. They over-explain. They reveal. They hand you information they never intended to give because the discomfort of your stillness became unbearable before their discipline did. Interrogators know this. Negotiators know this. The most effective leaders in history knew this. And almost nobody in the self-improvement space talks about it because teaching it means admitting that the most powerful thing you can do in most conversations is absolutely nothing. Silence is not absence. It is pressure. Directed, controlled, invisible pressure that costs you nothing and extracts everything. The practice. In every conversation this week, when someone finishes speaking, wait 4 full seconds before responding. Not 2, 4. Watch what they do in that silence. What they add, what they correct, what they accidentally confess. Do this for 7 days, and you will never underestimate stillness again. Secret 5. The depth trap. What happens when thinking goes too far? Here is what nobody warns you about. The same depth that makes the introvert's mind precise makes it, under the wrong conditions, a closed system that feeds only on itself. When you process at depth, pattern recognition becomes automatic. You start seeing motivations before people voice them, outcomes before they arrive, contradictions before the other person is aware they exist. And at a certain point, this stops feeling like clarity and starts feeling like isolation, because the faster your mind moves, the more the world around you begins to feel unbearably slow. That feeling is the first sign the weapon has turned inward, not outward, inward. Against your own capacity for patience, for connection, for tolerating the beautiful, necessary mess of other people who are still figuring out what you figured out 3 steps ago. The practice. Once a week, ask one person you genuinely trust this exact question. What have you noticed about me recently that you have not said out loud? Then, go completely silent. Do not defend. Do not analyze. Do not reframe. Receive it entirely. This is the only practice that keeps a sharpened mind honest when its own speed would otherwise make honest feedback impossible to reach. Part 2. The cost. What these secrets do when they go too far. The first thing sharpened intelligence destroys is not your weakness. It is your empathy. Quietly, gradually, without announcement. The sharper you become, the more natural it feels to operate at this level. And the more natural it feels, the easier it becomes to forget what it was like before, to be confused, to be genuinely lost inside a problem with no visible exit. And that forgetting creates a specific, invisible blindness in every relationship that actually matters to you. You start looking at people who are struggling and feeling something uncomfortably close to contempt, because you can see exactly what they need to do, and you cannot understand why they are simply not doing it. But you have forgotten what crawling felt like. And if you stay in that forgetting long enough, you do not become more powerful. You become more alone, and the isolation will feel like clarity. And that, the feeling of isolation mistaken for clarity, is the most dangerous place a sharpened mind can live. Part 3. The code. How to carry this without becoming the monster. You need a code, not a philosophy, not a quote on your wall. 3 specific, ruthless personal rules that govern exactly how you use what you now know. 1. I do not use what I understand about people to diminish them. I use it to understand them more completely. 2. I do not use my depth of perception to win. I use it to find what is actually true. 3. I do not let my ability to see further become a reason to stop being patient with people who are still finding their way. This code is not weakness. It is the only thing that keeps the weapon pointed in the right direction. Because a mind operating at this level with no code is not an asset. It is a very sophisticated, very directed, and very invisible source of damage to every person who gets close enough to matter. Real intelligence was never just about becoming more powerful. It was always about becoming powerful enough to be trusted with the power you are building. The secrets in this video are real. The exercises work. The results will come faster than you expect and hit harder than you are ready for. But the person who applies all of this without the code at the end does not become terrifyingly intelligent. They become terrifyingly alone. Subscribe, because the next video goes deeper into the psychology of how the sharpest minds operate and what they do when nobody is watching.